lights are out, you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels almost, just hold on me. Just hold on me. Just hold on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold on me. Just hold on me. Just hold on me. Just hold on me.
Mm-hmm.
After a controversial night at Darlington Raceway, we now come to one of the classic racetracks here in what used to be on the NASCAR circuit, North Wilkesboro Speedway in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, for round number 15 of the USRA season. Just a month of racing to go after tonight. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Back with me this week is my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso. Tony, glad to have you back after these last couple of weeks. And boy, did you miss a night last week.
I missed being in the booth, but I didn't miss the broadcast and the aftermath of said race. But yeah, there's a lot of happening going on last week that I'm kind of sad that I missed.
We do have 19 drivers here tonight, and one of them that is notably not here is the points leader, Randy Bechtel, who, if you heard the post-race interview last week, had said a couple of things that we here at ESPN do not condone. Same thing with the league, so we do apologize for allowing that on air, and the USRA apologizes as well, and it is for that reason Randy Bechtel will not be here tonight. He is under a series suspension, and he will also not be joining us for any more interviews this season because of that incident last week. So he has a 102 point lead in the points right now, but that certainly will help with him being suspended this week, but that also will be cut down big time if the 81 or the 00 end up with good nights. And if you look at the timing and scoring pylon, they're 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as all hell breaks loose in turn 4, but yeah, Pienta, Thomas, and Chris Smith are just blistering this place right now, and making his return at Ryan Jones, and Jeff Pogo. Great couple of laps for him. That's your top 5 right now, and that's a strong top 5. I mean, those guys kind of have this place figured out more than anybody else so far.
It absolutely is. And the man you're seeing right now in that Hutch Strickland Circuit City throwback in that 00 is Evan Pienta, the man who won this race in the Cup car last season. So certainly Pienta going to be looking to re-up that. Currently sitting atop by a little bit over 2/100ths of a second as the practice session comes to a close. So the 00 will be the fastest car on track come the end of the practice session. We will now tick on over to the 5-minute qualifying session, and it looks as though Ellis Thomas will be the first one, at least on pit road, but it will be the 8 of Eric Holly who is going to be the first one on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's no way we can discount the lap that Pienta put in during the hot lap session. I mean, a 19 flat around this joint in a pickup truck, that's moving. Plain and simple. I mean, there's no other way to say it. That's insane.
Eric Holly has a big moment coming out of turn 2. He'll lock it down, and that will be the end of his first lap. Take a look at another throwback scheme. This would look to be a Jeff Burton throwback scheme, the old Ray Bestis car. There for the 80 of Ellis Thomas, and he is all over the place coming out of turn 4. Right now, fastest time goes to the man who sits second in the practice session. That would be the 81 of Chris Smith, and look at how composed that car is compared to the 80.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chris Smith really has a handle on how to get around this place, whether it's the different sway bar or different shock and spring package that he's running. Definitely throttle control, and that's the one thing we know Chris Smith has that's beyond reproach. Is that man? He's got, I like to call it a built-in traction control, where his right foot doesn't let those tires break loose.
Smith doing a great job. Scott Tompkins, second position on the timing and scoring. This is Chandler Summers coming around to complete his first lap. He'll go up to 10th. Chase Barry, last week's winner, has completed both of his laps. He will put it in the 6th position. Evan Pienta about to begin his first in that Circuit City 00. That is.
It looks like a lot of the guys that were sitting at the top of the timing screen during the hot lap session were waiting for the track temperature to drop just a little bit, because it's quite warm right now. Not the hottest we've ever seen in this series, but for North Carolina during May, that's a pretty warm track temperature.
Boy, not a good lap here from Evan Pienta. His first lap, he tried to go wide on the outside to try to get a straight line run to the start-finish line to start his second lap. He qualifies in the 4th position, so a good recovery from a shaky first half of the lap, but not a good run for the 00 at all. Dan Dill in the 11, who was a big part of that finish last week at Darlington, will put it in the 7th position. And as of right now, Scott Stotler, Zach Calloway, Ryan Jones, Jared Hagedorn, Larry Poling, Cody Levitt, and Anthony Reynolds all not setting times, as we'll take a look at the winner from last week's race, Chase Barry. Decided to take a couple extra practice laps, which really cannot hurt around here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you the biggest thing and I didn't see very many people doing it during the hot lap session, was getting on and off pit road under green flag conditions. We've seen it in the past out of these guys. These guys are notorious, and I use that phrase wholeheartedly, notorious for going long green flag runs. And I haven't seen anybody practice getting on and off pit road. So this is not an easy track to get onto pit road from.
So we see Ryan Jones on track right now. Now, Jones has been the rocket man this season, up into 2nd position, just 1/100th of a second off of pole time on his first lap, and he is not going to get a second lap in, but he has been either on or around the pole a vast majority of this season. He started on pole 3 times this year, but that right there does not count how many times he started inside the top 2 rows. That 7 has been an incredibly consistent qualifier all season long.
Well, I mean, that goes back to, Ryan being somebody that's not afraid to let it hang out. It has come back to bite.
Sorry, that was Cody Levitt, who was purple of the first half of the lap and then slid it coming off of turn 4 on the second lap, and that will do it for the qualifying session. Go ahead, finish your thought, Tony.
Well, what I was saying is Ryan Jones is one of those guys that's not afraid to let it hang out, but that has come back to bite him quite a few times during those long green flag runs that we were talking about. And, tonight he's got to be careful, because it's 150 laps. They've got 4 sets of tires to do it with.
It's going to be, this race can be very long or very quick, one of the two. And if you remember last year with this series in the Cup cars, it was a rather quick race from start to finish. Let's take a look at the grid here for tonight's race at North Wilkesboro. Chris Smith, the man who sits 2nd in points, currently with the pole at a 19.134. He has Ryan Jones just 1/100th of a second off of him, starting in the second position. Scott Tompkins and Johnny Rapp will make up row number 2 with Evan Pienta and Jeff Pogo. In row 3, Eric Holly and Dan Dill make up row 4, with Chase Barry and Jamie Leach rounding out the top 10 in row 5.
Row 6 gives us Chandler Summers and Ellis Thomas. Casey Southwick and Cody Levitt going to roll off in row number 7. Levitt, the last one to actually post time in qualifying. Everybody else is going to be lined up by their I-rating. So row 8 gives us Zach Calloway and Scott Stoller, Jared Hagedorn and Anthony Reynolds in row 9, and starting shotgun on the field in the Army 69, Larry Poling.
A little bit of an SDK issue here at the moment, so we are going to get rid of that here. We're going to try to get rid of that at least. So what we are going to do here, sorry, I hate doing this, but we are going to have to do it. There we go. And unfortunately, I cannot get the overlay off. So that is fun. Tony, we're gonna have you bring him down for a radio broadcast here for a minute.
Well, we are at the 5/8 mile North Wilkesboro Speedway in Wilkes County, North Carolina. Field working its way out of turn number 2 on the second of 2 pace laps behind the iRacing pace car. This is going to be a fun one, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up, buckle in, and if you're in the live chat, go ahead and let us know who you're rooting for tonight. Field worked its way into turn 3. The only thing that's left to do is you're going to adjust the helmet, make sure the visor's wiped off, pull the 5-point safety harness nice and tight, make sure that steering wheel's on, pace car is in. The only thing that's left to say is, race fans, it's showtime! Chris Smith pulls the trigger. Ryan Jones trying to stay with him on the high side. Here comes Scotty Tompkins on the inside of Jones. Jones getting a decent run off of 2. Gonna clear Tompkins and falling behind Chris Smith. Here comes the 76 Johnny Rapp on the high side, working on the outside. Evan Pienta right now coming off of 4. Those guys side by side. We are 2 wide, 2 deep in the top 5. And right now, Jeff Pogo looking for a hole as Rapp has to step on the brakes. He got pinched high. Rapp having a little bit of connection troubles right now, though. Here comes Eric Holly on the inside with the 8. There's single file in front of those guys as Holly gets a little sideways coming off of 4. So that's Holly and Rapp slugging it out right now for the number 6 position. It's Holly on the low side, Rapp on the high side. Rapp gets a great drive off of 2, gets him cleared as they are still trying to get it sorted out. Meanwhile, Jamie Leach making some headway on that second lane on the high side as he's working around the outside of Ellis Thomas right now. Dan Dill sits in the number 8 spot as Leach working that second lane in the 13. And here comes Chase Berry in the 1 as well. A little bit of a gap back from a little bit of a gap behind Ellis Thomas as Berry and Levitt throwing haymakers at each other. Levitt able to wrestle the spot away from him. And I believe we are back, Frank?
Yes, we do. We have picture back. I do apologize for that. Only missed a couple laps, which is a lot better than I thought. As Chris Smith right now currently with an 0.8 of a second lead on Scott Tompkins at the moment. Tompkins with Evan Pienta not that far behind him. There you see the top 2 of the top 3 positions, but behind them it is incredibly close. We see Daniel Dill trying to make a move on Ellis Thomas, that for the 8th spot.
Thomas was slugging it out with Holly for quite a while there too as well. And again, Dill trying to make some headway right now. He dropped a couple of spots as Thomas has really got that 80 hooked up right now under race conditions. Didn't have the qualifying attempt he was hoping for as he's now working on the backside of Eric Holly in the 8.
Battle for second position getting really close here now between Evan Pienta and Scott Tompkins. It's going to be Pienta taking over that spot. And Pienta, again, who was incredibly good here in the Cup car last season, taking that win, dominating through most of the night. That 00 Pienta is going to be a big one to watch for as Chris Smith already catching lap traffic by way of the 69 of Larry Poling.
Absolutely. And the thing you got to wonder right now with the pace that Chris Smith is setting, is he going too hard too soon?
This is a very big night for him with Bechtel being suspended and not being able to use this race as a drop week. This is a huge night for Chris Smith to try to claw back as many points as he possibly can He could close up to 75 points by winning this race alone, then add the bonus points into it. It could get a little bit closer. He could pull 80 points back on that 51 here tonight, but Evan Pienta could do just the same, sitting in that top 5 as the caution has come out. I believe for the 25 of Scott Tompkins it is.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough one to see right there. Looks like Tompkins got into it with the lap car, Larry Poling. Poling had to chase it down the track coming off a 2, and Tompkins just pile driven into the hauler access.
Did get a little bit close there between those two. And now you might see, as we see Daniel Dill and Cody Levitt coming into pit road. I believe Anthony Reynolds is down in pit road as well in the 82. You might see a little bit of oddities here tonight. That would be because of the Season 4 update that came out last night. Actually, very glad and very surprised that the Endurance for Amateur series, was able to put on their All-Star event last night. Sim Racer's Edge was not able to. A little bit more on that later. But with a lot of issues last night, and typically with the funky stuff that the season update tends to do to the entirety of iRacing, including updates and just unintended bugs, you could see some unique stuff here tonight, a little bit of physics issues, but that would be all because of that update.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something we see every week 13 on rollout day and usually a couple days after. But the good news is this week, Frank, we're going to be doing a special event on Saturday evening.
Yep, we will be doing that. We will have, for the first time in, I think,
almost a year.
Yeah, I know I was a part of the last one, was Bottom Split Bingo. We'll be doing that this Saturday. I believe it'll be, I know Tony and Sam for sure, not quite sure on my status on that yet. But it will be a fun night on Saturday night with Bottom Split Bingo. We'll be getting that scheduled on the broadcast very, very shortly on YouTube, and that is where it will be. It'll be on YouTube and Twitch.
And you can find the link to the bingo. You can find the link to the bingo cards on our Facebook page, which link will be in the video description below. But the other thing too is I believe tentatively Ryan and Ben will be joining us. I haven't had confirmation on that yet, but they've been showing interest, as well as some of the guys from the endurance team that this past Sunday won their split at the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Yeah, just about to say that. Congratulations to the VSM Racing team for winning Split 2 in the VRS Endurance Series, the 24 Hours at Daytona. As we get set to go back to racing here at North Wilkesboro, green flag in the air. Chris Smith gets a good jump. He will have the lead single-handedly going into turn 1, but Evan Pienta is no longer 1.4 seconds behind. He is now 0.14.
And don't look now, but here comes Ellis Thomas in the 80, working the outside of Eric Holly right now. And those two guys are just throwing haymakers at each other. As finally Thomas able to get a better drive off of 2. And Holly's got to be careful because here comes the 13 to Jamie Leach.
And those two are in the same voice chat here tonight, are the 8 and the 13. So those two guys communicating with each other. Ellis Thomas, worth noting in that Rebestis 80, was up in the top 3 for a vast majority of that practice session, sat in second, ended up finishing third in the practice sessions. We'll take a look a little bit further back. Last week's winner, Chase Barry, putting on a big fight here with Chandler Summers.
And looks like we've got a new leader. Evan Pienta has wrestled the lead away from Chris Smith.
Yes, he has. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. This one happened a couple of laps ago. Evan Pienta swings to the inside going into turn 3. Chris Smith doesn't really have an answer. And by turn number 4, Evan Pienta in the race lead.
So far we've seen Pienta take the high line to get around, I believe it was Ryan Jones, to wrestle second away from him. And now we've seen him use the low line to get around Chris Smith. So Pienta's got that peak antifreeze Ford F-150 just on rails tonight.
Absolutely, is Evan Pienta in that beautiful 1997 Circuit City Ford F-150 here tonight. A throwback
I'm
to...
sorry, my trading paint just screwed up. I apologize, folks.
No, that is a big time callback. Hutch Strickland on that 00 here tonight. Now Scott Stotler in the 5 has had a little bit of an issue. You see the damage on the right side of that DuPont number 5. Take a look and see here what happened to Stotler, running in the 16th position. This is going into turn 1. Behind Cody Levitt, who, remember, just came down pit road. A little bit of a connection blink and hits the wall, at least from what we saw on that on the trailer entrance there on the back straightaway right there. Oh, around goes Tompkins again in the 25.
Well, he had help on that one.
Yeah,
and
it looked like
I knew it was coming. You knew it was coming because him and the 27 were just hammer and tongs for the previous 2 or 3 laps. And Tompkins gave the 27 a shove going through 1 and 2, and payback's my ex-girlfriend. And we'll leave it at that. So that's the second time. Yep. Go ahead.
2 cautions here tonight, and Scott Tompkins a part of both of them. Take a look and see what happened here between the 2. There's the nudge in 1 to Casey Sawtek in the 27. And there's the receipt.
Yep. You kind of could see it coming. I was able to watch that whole thing develop as Johnny Rapp was having trouble in front of them, and Sawtek checked up going into 1 because Rapp got just a little bit of sideways under braking, and Tompkins gave him a shot, got him loose, didn't punt him, just got him a little bit loose. You can see the little dimple in the back of Sawtek's back bumper. It wasn't a hard hit, but it did get him loose, did allow Tompkins to get under him. And, I mean, if you're Scott Tompkins, you got to know that receipt's coming.
If you're wondering why Jeff Pogo, who was up in the 3rd position, is now back to 14th, that's because of a pit stop. Eric Holly, Jamie Leach, Chase Barry, and Jared Hagedorn all coming into pit road here under this caution flag. Casey Sawtek. Oh, pardon me. I think that's the first time I've ever done that on a broadcast.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Casey Sawtek in pit road right now. As the field doubling up here, I believe we're on 2 to green before we go back to green flag racing. And also want to, I announced it, well, I said it privately. I want to publicly say thank you very much to Evan Pienta. For those of you who saw the disaster that was the Rowdy Energy Cup Series race from Daytona, and it was a disaster purely because of the car and the ability of the car, not because of the racing. The Pepsi Billion scheme that I had on, that was made by Evan, and it was my favorite car that Gordon drove growing up, and Pienta was able to bring it to life better than any other painter has attempted on trading paints. So I cannot thank Evan enough. Didn't get the finish we wanted, but that car looked beautiful every single lap it went around that racetrack.
I'm impressed that he got the hood decal correct.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing, because I was trying to help you get that paint scheme correct too, and neither one of us could find it. As Ellis Thomas throws it to the inside of Chris Smith, drag race down the back straightaway.
And these three that are sitting up in the top three right now, Pienta, Thomas, and Smith, these were the three guys that were in the top three in the practice session. So Ellis Thomas flexing that muscle on a good restart on that inside line. But look who else is having a very good race here tonight. Moving up positions, Chandler Summers now in the top five, looking for fourth on Ryan Jones.
So, Chandler, you can get your hate mail coming now. That's Frank Marchese, ESPN Towers, Hollywood, California, P.O. Box OU812, because I think he just jinxed you, bud.
Chandler Summers now down to the sixth position. He was battling with Callaway at that mention. As we'll take
Callaway
a look a little
right
bit further
now.
back. Boy, Tompkins having another big slide. Go ahead.
I was going to say Callaway was all over the back bumper of Ryan Jones. As here comes Pogo on the fresh rubber to work his way around the 25 of Tompkins. That was almost a meeting of the minds.
And that was that four pancaking the right side of that car on the outside retaining wall on the down the back straightaway, and he will get that position going into turn one as Eric Holly now lining up for a pass.
Did the same thing.
Yep, and that's one of the things that's going to be very, very noticeable here tonight is Tompkins still loose in that 25.
Tompkins is one of the. Tompkins hasn't been down pit road yet.
No, he
so
is not.
Pogo's got the freshest tires on the track right now, running in ninth. So look for him to make some headway as everybody in front of him has 23 or older lap tires.
And Holly right there as well on fresh rubber also, as Holly now will finally make that position stick. But that's something we are going to have to keep an eye on here tonight. The trailer entrance, the hauler entrance, they are down the back straightaway. You do not see that on modern racetracks anymore where the wall is jutted out like that. The only other racetrack I can think of that's like that is Gateway, and that track is rarely ever used. As a matter of fact, it just got put back on the NASCAR schedule, still has that opening in the wall.
Right, but the one at Gateway isn't quite as abrupt as the one here at Wilkesboro, because the one at Gateway, it's kind of a gradual jut back, whereas this one, it's just send them straight across and call it good.
There's riding on board with Eric Holly in the number 8, getting around Dan Dill. And he will get clear of Holly as we'll ride on board here with Holly for a couple laps just to show you how difficult it can be to get around here and just how unique this racetrack is compared to what we see today.
Well, the most noticeable difference is there's no safer barrier. It's just, here's a concrete wall, hope you don't die.
There's... And you can see with Holly here, you do have to take a late apex into turn one because much like Milwaukee, there is a little bit of a point to turn one, so you do have to swing out rather wide, and then you come down right there is that point before you can come off the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's kind of, they've squared off turn two, which is why you need to take that late apex. If you take a air quote normal apex where you try to do it in the center of the corner, the only thing you're going to do is just pancake the right side of the truck, knock the rear end out of it, and then have to have the guys use jacks or go jacks to put the truck back on the hauler.
So we're watching Scott Tompkins now trying to get that 9th position away from Cody Levitt. Zach Callaway losing a position now to Jeff Pogo. That's the 5th spot. Gone for the 4. As Tompkins still trying to battle, trying to keep Jamie Leach behind him in the 13 and keep and try to keep the attack on the 38 of Levitt. And I think the 25 and 38 made a little bit of contact there in 4, stacked everyone up behind him.
Yes, they did, and everybody heads up driving to not get into that melee. But got somebody blinking back there. I believe it's Anthony Reynolds in the 82.
Yes, it is.
Having just a little bit of connection issue right now. Nothing too major, but I mean, just right now, Evan Pienta just putting on a clinic. 2.5 seconds to the good over Ellis Thomas. I mean, just Katie barred the door because, Pienta making a statement right now that if you want to win tonight, you got to go through him.
This is exactly what we saw here last year in the Cup cars. He's really sliding that 0-0 around. As Pienta, you're right, 2.5 seconds up on Ellis Thomas, who holds the second position. Thomas about 3/4 of a second up on Chris Smith. And now Jeff Pogo gets up into the 4th position around Ryan Jones. Eric Holly does the same. So Ryan Jones, in the space of 3/4 of a mile, goes from 4th to 6th behind the 4 and the 8.
Well, that has everything to do with the fact that they've got almost 30 lap fresher tires than anybody else right now in the top 5. So the next one to fall is going to be Chris Smith, and this is kind of answering my question because he hasn't really made a lot of headway once he got past for the lead. As a matter of fact, he just hemorrhaged spots. As now he's going to have to be relegated back to 4th as Pogo working the inside of him right now on those fresher tires. Smith may have gone a little too hard, a little too soon, and you're seeing it right now as he has absolutely no drive off the corners. Ooh, big moment for Holly.
Yeah, but Eric Holly did not have the greatest of runs here last year, did not finish the race here last season. Trying to go back through here.
And I notice we've got 11 people in the live chat or in the live stream right now on YouTube. Go ahead in the chat, please. And I'm asking you this: just let us know who you're pulling for tonight. I know we've got people that just they don't like to chat, but just type in one of these guys' numbers and let them know that you're rooting for them. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, give us a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm to help promote the channel. And don't forget to share this on your social media.
I will take that back. Eric Holly finished 3rd here last season. Evan Pienta led all but 4 laps here. All but 10 laps in the Cup race here last season. So that's just how good Pienta was here last year, and he's well on his way to doing the same thing. We're already 1/3 of the way through this race as Chase Barry, trying to get around the outside of Chandler Summers, now ducks to the inside as we got a nice little gaggle of 6 cars here in this little group.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one right now that is in the most trouble of that group is going to be Scotty Tompkins in the 25, as everybody behind him has fresher tires than he does.
That outside line really does work around here because there is a little bit more banking on that outside. You can get that run and kind of pinch the guy on the inside off as we see these 5 trying to work their way through and figure this out. Behind these guys looming here is the 5 of Scott Stotler, and Scott Stotler is the answer to a trivia question, if there were one tonight. Jeff Gordon, the winner of the last Cup race here at North Wilkesboro back in 1996. Nice to see the Rainbow Warriors DuPont number 5 around here tonight.
Absolutely. And you got to remember, North Wilkesboro Speedway had progressive banking before progressive banking was cool.
Yep. Big slide there for Chandler Summers in the 15.
Jeepers.
Stotler almost getting into him there as we see a battle for second. Jeff Pogo has taken over that second spot from Ellis Thomas, and now we'll have a chance as he wiggles big time coming out of 2 to try to get up to Evan Pienta. Ryan Jones now battling with Chris Smith in the 81, this for 5th.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Contact door to door.
Yeah, that could have been big as, this just, again, it goes back to what I said earlier when Smith was leading. Is he going too hard too soon? The answer, a definitive yes, is right now that truck is struggling and he is praying for a caution.
He's about to be in a big fight for 7th spot with Jamie Leach in the 13. Zach Calloway in the 55, not that far away. Everybody still on the racetrack that started this race here tonight. All 19 drivers taking part in this race are still here, as a multitude of guys now spread all throughout the field. Pienta leading, Ellis Thomas in third, Ryan Jones and Chris Smith in fifth and sixth, Zach Calloway in eighth, Scott Tompkins in 12th, Scott Stotler in 15th, Chandler Summers and Johnny Rapp in 17th and 18th. Those are the drivers that have not come into pit yet here in the first 63 laps of this 150-lap event. So these guys should be coming in for green flag pit stops rather soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's an impressive drive right now that Pienta's able to do what he's doing. Still almost 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds now, as Pogo starting to reel him in a little bit, as Pienta's tires are really starting to give up the ghost. But Ellis Thomas already up from 12th starting position, currently sitting in third, and he was running second for quite a while. But that's an impressive drive.
Absolutely, and you see the lap time differential there between the 00 and the 4, a good 1/10.5 to 2/10 of a second a lap. Pogo has been better. Pogo dealing with a little bit of traffic slowed that lap time up, but this is a battle for the 12 spot that is really fanned out here, as the 25 and 27 have found each other again. Anthony Reynolds in the 82 with a big slide on the inside, coming up in front of Scott Stotler, who now looks to the inside coming out of 2.
Absolutely. I'm watching that battle between the 25 and the 27, as the 27 does have fresher tires. 25 pinches them up. 27 keeps his foot in it. And just like that, Southwick able to wrestle the spot away, as Anthony Reynolds has finally gotten the spot from Stotler. Stotler trying to battle back and not able to do so on the low line.
I had missed it last week, and I take a lot of pride in it, and I completely whiffed. That is an homage on the 25 to Darrell Waltrip's Pepsi Challenger. He ran the same car last week at Darlington. I completely missed it. He mentioned that I missed it after the race. I jumped off a bridge, and now he's back running it again, giving me another chance, so I'm not going to miss it this time.
It looks more like the Gatorade car than it does the Pepsi Challenger.
It was based off the Challenger, as you heard that contact there. Casey Sawtek getting into the wall in turn 1 and 2. As Sawtek running that outside line, trying to gain time and position. Scott Stotler still trying to work on that 82, who now goes to work on the 25. Jared Hagedorn, as we'll take a look at the race lead. Yep, that lead has changed, as Jeff Pogo has gotten into the race lead. Eric Holly not that far away from him, as they've also brought Ellis Thomas up into this group.
Looked like Pienta may have pounded the wall coming off of 4. I saw a ton of smoke.
He's got right side damage, door damage on that 00.
No, something happened in front of him. He had a jam on the binders.
Let's take a look and see here. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was Johnny Rapp. We were just about to go to a replay of Johnny Rapp when you had mentioned the lead, as now Pienta's going to go into the pits.
How is that not a caution?
Oh, he spun. Pienta spun on pit entry. And he's got rear end damage. He might have been punted into pit road.
Oh, that's a good possibility.
A lot of things happening. So let's just go through it in order. This is what happened to Johnny Rapp. This is coming out of 4.
Oh, yeah, no, Pienta definitely had help.
So Rapp spins off of 4, ends up back in the middle of the racetrack. Here comes the battle for the lead.
And Pienta jammed on the binders because there's a truck sitting sideways in front of him.
Everybody did.
Well,
and Pogo
was able to move to the inside to get around.
And here's Pienta going into pit road.
And he had help from the 80.
Yep. That's Ellis Thomas. Not there. Not slowed down enough. And Pienta was going into pit road either way, but that certainly cost him some time. Scott Tompkins has had more trouble in the 25. Let's go and catch up on that now.
He's now on pit road.
Yep, he is. Just saw that. He's coming into 1 and 2.
Chandler Summers has finally gone down pit road in the 15 as well.
Big slide there for Tompkins. Had to come to a stop and couldn't get the car straightened up. Finally did in front of Jeff Pogo, the race leader. Back to live pictures. There's the 81 of Chris Smith in pit road. Ellis Thomas brings it down pit road right now. The next one we would expect is this man right here. That's the 7 of Ryan Jones. He has not come into pit yet, and these guys are in a window to where they can make it the rest of the way without having to come in again.
Yeah, absolutely. Chandler Summers almost getting into Jamie Leach coming off a 4, as I don't think Leach realized that Summers was there on the fresher tires. As here comes the, I believe that's the 82 to get.
It is the 82.
Why do I not see the 82? Okay, he's trying to get his lap back from the 7. So, and there goes the 15 of Summers to do the same. Again, fresher tires. You're talking almost a 1.5 second tire fall off at this joint.
The rolling in the center is going to be the biggest killer. You'll see a lot of these guys losing that time in the middle of the corner, as Jeff Pogo currently leading by 0.8 of a second here over Eric Holly. Now, Pogo and Holly can go a while. Those guys came in under the last caution on lap 26. So those guys will be able to race for a little bit longer than these other guys have been. Right now, there is the current effective race leader once pit stops completely cycle out. Cody Levitt brings that Vegas Golden Knights number 38 down pit road. But Evan Pienta right now, the first car not on the lead lap in that 00, so he will retake the race lead when everything cycles out, as the 4 now coming under serious pressure from his teammate in the 8. Oh, big slide.
If everything cycles out. That's the biggest thing to remember right now, as looks like Chandler Summers getting one of his 2 laps back off the race leader, Jeff Pogo. Pogo gives him plenty of room on that second lane. But, we've seen it time and time again. Guys get trapped a lap down because something happens to somebody trying to hustle a green flag pit stop. And from the looks of it, there's nobody trying to be a 2-tire hero tonight.
Absolutely not. This is not the place to do it, as Eric Holly really starting to put that 4, his teammate, under pressure as Larry Poling makes the dive. As we'll take a look at what's upcoming here on ESPN. The DOB series returns here tonight with both of their series, the 410s and the big blocks. The 410s will be starting in about 20 minutes time. They will be from Knoxville. The big block series will be at Lernerville tonight, roughly 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, right after the 410s. Coming up tomorrow will be the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. They will be in the trucks at Daytona tomorrow night. It'll be a red, white, and blue patriotic theme coming up this Friday night. On Saturday, as Tony had mentioned, will be bottom split bingo at your random racetracks. Then on Sunday will be the Majors Series, the Italian Grand Prix from Monza. That will be a fun night. Myself and Sam Cooper Bennett will be in the booth for that in the McLaren Formula One cars. And then on Monday night, to start the new week, will be round number 2 of the playoffs for the Rowdy Energy Cup Series at Richmond. That will be at 8:20 p.m. Eastern time, as well, as Jeff Pogo still leads. We saw Evan Pienta just get his lap back, so he is back on the lead lap here, as Pogo still doing battle with his teammate in the 8 of Eric Holly.
Yeah, Holly's definitely not letting Pogo get away from him. As here comes the 81 to try to get one of his laps back. Actually, that's going to put Chris Smith back on the lead lap should he get around Pogo quickly enough. But yeah, I mean, Holly has definitely kept Pogo honest, as they say. But for those of you asking, a quick note about what bottom split bingo is. We are going to go into a rookie street stock race during week 13. So whatever track they choose to run on Saturday, we're going to be at. We're going to wait for the sessions to load up. Then we're going to log into whatever the bottom split is, whatever the I believe it's the highest number for the session, which would be the people with allegedly, anyways, the lowest I ratings. And then it's not going to be for children. So if you're under the age of 18, get your parents' permission before you log into the live stream with us. But we are going to have live in-race chatter on, as well as those of us in the booth talking smack about what we're seeing on track right now. But we are going to have bingo. Go ahead.
Think of it as a live ARCA Break Weekly. For those of you who follow the ARCA Break Weekly series on YouTube.
That's the best way to put it.
Yep, think of it as a live ARCA Break Weekly. This will be about as informal as possible. It'll be just a fun night of watching the bottom split guys try to get their D licenses. Yeah, try to get their D licenses before week 13 ends. Before they have to earn it by the 4.0 license. So it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be kind of a slack off night, a relaxed night for us. Not going to be heavily graphic or anything like that.
Sit there with an adult beverage and enjoy the show.
It's just going to be a fun night of messing around and watching carnage. And again, one of the appeals for bottom split bingo is going to be the fact that we will have in-race chatter on, so we will be able to hear those guys as they curse each other out for taking each other out. So anyway, getting back to the race at hand. Jeff Pogo still has not come into pit. We're almost at the century mark here at North Wilkesboro, and the caution has come out.
Tompkins again.
Yep, he has gotten the hat trick. Has Scott Tompkins.
And he had help on that one, too.
So his long night here at North Wilkesboro continues.
Almost got into Jamie Leach trying to get that truck pointed back straight. But, yeah, he had a meeting of the minds with Jared Hagedorn, as Hagedorn's got a lot fresher tires than Tompkins does. And this is a godsend for Ryan Jones. 99 laps on his tires. Thank you very much.
See this from Hagedorn's point of view. And just like that, there you go. So everybody will be coming into pit road here. Ryan Jones in, Evan Pienta in, Jeff Pogo, Eric Holly in.
Dan Dill stayed out, as did Jamie Leach.
Dan Dill will stay out to lead the lap. As Evan Pienta now down and away.
Dill's going to have to go another lap to get that bonus point for leading, because Jeff Pogo was able to get halfway down pit road before Dill got to the start-finish line.
So with us being at the century mark, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You are watching the TNT Truck Series presented by the United Sim Racing Association right here on ESPN. Do not go anywhere. Restart with less than 50 laps upcoming. Going back to green flag racing here with just over 45 laps to go. Jamie Leach did not come in during that pit cycle. He will take the lap lead, and he'll also be hoping for a caution. As a big slide there for Eric Holly on the restart. We're back to green flag racing here. Jamie Leach out in front, but only for the moment, as here comes Pogo on the inside of 2 with Holly 3 wide in the middle of the field.
That's the worst feeling in the world, is when you hear 3 wide, you're the meat, and Eric Holly, wisely backs out of it and lets Pienta and the 82 of Anthony Reynolds slug it out. Reynolds still 1 lap down. Oh, a big moment for Tompkins coming off of 2.
And Tompkins again, and he has had a horrific night as he spun around backwards now, and that will be the golden sombrero, 4 for 4 tonight here for Tompkins. Unfortunately, as this mare of an evening for the 25 continues.
Well, he got the he got the Spanish Archer from Larry Poling coming off of 2.
Yeah, he did, and that was net code as well.
And almost got into Ellis Thomas in the 80.
Wow, Ellis
he
Thomas
was spinning. Yeah.
Boy,
that
Thomas
could have ended all sorts of poorly.
Yeah, Thomas had to jump through the grass there. Let's take a look here from above. Looking at the 25. See no legitimate contact made between the 25 and the 69. And then Thomas, who's in pit road right now, having to fly through the infield. Let's take a look at that from Thomas's point of view. On board of the Rebestis number 80. There you see him. Tompkins spinning around it. Boom. Oh, he did catch Tompkins a little bit on the right front.
And that's what you refer to as a Code Brown moment.
Yeah.
Down and away, 22 seconds to repair some damage on the number 80. But how about that gaggle of cars at the front of this thing? Pogo, Jones, Smith, Pienta back into the top 5. Eric Holly, Dan Dill, Jamie Leach, who was just taking it down pit road, and Anthony Reynolds and Ellis Thomas rounding out your top 10.
If Anthony Reynolds is going, if Ellis Thomas, is going through flight school, he can log that in as hours, I think. Flight hours on the license.
You're not wrong.
As Pogo, you're right, Pogo does take the lead. Now, Pogo did not get around Jamie Leach on that run.
Side.
Yep, Leach did come into pit here under this caution. So that is worth noting. Leach gave up the lead. He did not lose it under green flag, which is not what we were expecting, to say the very least.
Well, he kind of saw the writing on the wall when he went to go lay the power down, and Pogo was able to pull on him. The 22 laps doesn't sound like a lot here at the 5/8 mile North Wilkesboro Speedway, but it can count enough. So Leach decided to take it down pit road, the best course of action for him. Looks like Reynolds was the one that got the lucky dog that time, so that's going to relegate him back to 10th. Zach Calloway now, or 11th. Zach Calloway now up into 10th.
Cody Levitt right now will be, I believe it's Levitt who's the last car on the lead lap right now. So Summers will be the first car off of the lead lap. And Tony, bring us down.
Field working its way down the back straightaway behind the iRacing pace car. Pace car is in. Pogo pulls the trigger and gets a great jump. Brian Jones not able to stay with him as here comes the 81 and the 80 and the 00 of Evan Pienta slugging it out. Pienta working that second lane. Jones, wow, that was a big moment coming into 3.
That was all power move there as the caution has come out, and this time it's Ellis Thomas. You see the 15.
Oh.
The 15 of Chandler Summers around as well. As that was one of the biggest power moves we've seen in a long time.
Oh, no. Oh, come on.
Pienta.
That was shades of Milwaukee.
Let's take a look here. This is Ellis Thomas.
The 69 never hit the brakes.
Boy, and the 38 of Levitt gets into it as well. Let's take a look at this from overhead. See the 69 of Poling. He's behind the 80 now. Yeah, that was a big... Boy, Levitt took a couple of big shots there on the front and the rear, but I'm with you, Tony. I didn't see too much braking.
He was 115 miles an hour. He was 115 miles an hour when he made contact with Thomas. Everybody else was down into the 80 range.
And from what I'm seeing there, it was, from what I was able to hear, I don't think there was much letting off there for the 69.
There wasn't any.
So as we get set to go back to green flag racing one more time, let's take a look again at that move that Evan Pienta made going down the back straightaway, because he gets around Chris Smith here, gets an incredible run coming out of 2, and just shoves it to the outside of the 7. Look at the run he gets, puts it right up against the wall.
And Jones didn't know he was there.
Oh, absolutely not. I certainly wouldn't be expecting a car there at that point.
No, the iRacing, I mean, unless you've got a live spotter, there's no way that the iRacing algorithm was going to tell Jones that Pienta was coming as hard as he was.
And honestly, I think that might have been netcode between the two, because Pienta was about as high up as he could be. And then Ryan Jones's car did that thing where the back end kicks out. So I would have to say that was netcode contact between the 00 and the 7. But my goodness, what an aggressive run for Evan Pienta. And then, of course, the caution coming out not that far after. Yeah,
absolutely. And you know, does anybody else on the track want to try to hit the 25 tonight?
Well, fortunately, he wasn't a part of it this time. As we go back to green flag racing here, coming to the line, there we go, working lap 117. Pogo gets another great restart. Ryan Jones now has to defend from the 00 on the inside line, as Pienta gives him plenty of room. Good car width of room there between the 00 and the 7. And Pienta's going to take the spot.
Pienta got a much better drive off of 4 than Jones did. Jones looks like he, you know, just could not get the power down. Got into the marbles a little bit going through 3 and 4, and that let Pienta get to him. And here comes Chris Smith in the 81, as he's now got to defend against Jamie Leach on that top side.
Smith just trying to hold on. One guy we have not seen up towards the front at all here tonight is the one of Chase Barry. Again, the winner back at Darlington last week said that this was going to be a bogey track for him, as Pienta goes back for the race lead. Oh, big slide there for Pienta. He's going to have to hold on a second. Still has that inside line on Pogo through 1 and 2. Just cannot quite get the run off the corner. Makes a big dive going into 3. He's going to push up a little bit, go in the middle of 3 and 4, but a big move on the inside. Give Pienta the lead. Now you can officially give it to him.
Well, not for long.
Holly's around.
With the crossover. And
Holly's around to the back.
We don't have there's the caution.
Yep, there it was.
And the question is, who are they going to give the lead of the race to? Looks like Pienta had the nose out front when the caution came back, but Pogo had just tried to, you know, cross him over. Yeah.
There were 2 separate incidents here. It was Eric Holly and Anthony Reynolds in the 82. Here's Holly.
Had a big slide. Oi!
Holly went drifting through 1 and 2.
That explains why Reynolds went around. Go watch what happened to the 25.
Stuck in the middle of Tompkins and Stotler.
Well, he checked up to try to not clobber the 8, and Tompkins, just 0 Fs given, just ran him over.
Let's take a look and see here. Tompkins gets the inside, and yep, he does get into that left rear corner of the 82. I think that might have been what drew the caution, not necessarily
Right.
Holly.
Yeah, because the 82 was sliding sideways down the back straightaway in front of everybody, and that's what triggered that caution. But looks like Pogo has the lead, so I do take that back. When the caution came out, Pogo did have the nose out front going into 3. Pienta relegated back to 2nd, as looks like Holly and Reynolds both bringing it down pit side.
So let's...
We should be getting a restart here with about 25 to go.
So this has been... It's been quite a night here at North Wilkesboro. We had a nice long run from lap 26 to just about the century mark. We've seen a couple of cautions here, and this is what happens. Late race, short track racing. Guys start beating and banging, trying to make up as many positions as possible, and this is the end result of it. Scott Stotler in the 5 in pit road.
It's one of those things that we talk about. You've got to have patience on a short track, and yes, this is a 5/8 mile progressive banked oval. You've got to have patience, but we're at that point in the race where the patient died.
Scott Tompkins and Chandler Summers giving positions back. Coming off of pit road, as I believe Tompkins is the first car not on the lead lap.
Currently, yes.
At this point. So the top 13 are on the lead lap, and we'll get the restart here with 24 to go. As it'll be Jeff Pogo on the inside, Evan Pienta on the outside, and if Pienta can get a decent restart here, he might be looking good to take this lead away. And look at Jamie Leach. Haven't seen him too much. We've seen him in the top 5 at some of the bigger tracks, but he has been a fixture here in the latter portion of this race. As we go back to green flag racing, an immediate jump from Jeff Pogo gives Evan Pienta a battle with Jamie Leach instead of with himself. And look at how close those two are getting coming out of 2.
Absolutely. Leach really leaning on Pienta right now. Pienta's not giving a lot of room on that second lane, kind of trying to pinch Leach down. Leach gives him room. Pienta gets a better drive off of 4, side by side into turn number 1. And don't look now, but that's Calloway and Smith slugging it out for the number 4 spot.
Ryan Jones and Cody Levitt there as well. That's for 6th and 7th. Those two are battling for position. Is that 38? And I'm kind of surprised with the 38 with how hard he got hit a couple of cautions ago. Chris Smith managing, at least for the moment, to stay in that 4th position. Now he's going to lose it to Zach Calloway. Calloway going to have to let off a little bit as the 13 of Jamie Leach has a bad exit coming out of turn 2, as now Pienta is a go after Jeff Pogo.
Absolutely. And, Pienta, he's been showing patience all season long. He knows how to conserve his tires. He hasn't been running all that hard yet. As we are going to be 20 to go, this time across the stripe. Pogo, Pienta, Leach, Calloway, Smith, your top 5. As Smith now has to deal with the 7 of Ryan Jones.
Riding on board with Ryan Jones in that Mountain Dew Baja Blast number 7.
Oi!
As Smith really trying to put a move on Zach Calloway. Calloway is going to move up the racetrack, but the battle now is for the race lead as Evan Pienta has gotten to the outside of the 4 with 19 to go. Pienta looking for that race lead, looking for that drive off as there's a wreck behind them.
Anthony Reynolds involved in that one. 15 of Summers getting involved in that.
Chris Smith, Eric Holly.
Looks like Ellis Thomas. Ellis Thomas. Reynolds got loose and Thomas finished him off.
Let's take a look here. It started with Thomas and with Chris Smith and Calloway. This is a battle diving into turn 1. Let's take a look back at it again there. There's Callaway and the 81, and then behind them, there's Anthony Reynolds going around. Chandler Summers stopping to not hit him. As we'll take a look, there's the 80 that you were talking about. A little bit of door-to-door contact between the 80 and the 82. 80 took a hard dive into the corner and used the 82 as a wall.
And if you go back and take a look at the battle between Callaway and Smith and Jones, that boils down to Chris Smith jams on the binders, gets just a tick sideways, just ever so slightly gets into Callaway, and Ryan Jones finished both of them off.
Interesting strategy calls here. Eric Holly, Evan Pienta, Chris Smith, Jeff Pogo, and Dan Dill all decide to come down pit road here, leaving the top 6 out on older tires. The question is going to be, can these guys on fresh rubber make it through in the 14 or so laps we're going to have allotted when we go back to green flag racing?
That's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle because, yes, Leach has some of the oldest tires on track right now, as does Zach Callaway. Ryan Jones, about 26 lap newer tires, going to be restarting in second. Chase Berry went down pit road the same time Jones did. And then you got Stotler and Reynolds, who are about 14 laps into their current tire stint. It's going to be fun to see what happens here, because this is that time of the race where you see guys try to make the truck as wide as possible, pinching down, pinching up, pinching into the wall, pinching a fit.
You just saw the graphic on screen. Jamie Leach and Zach Callaway both came in on lap 106. They'll both be starting on the inside. Ryan Jones and Chase Barry both came in on 122. They'll both be on the outside. Scott Stotler came in on 124. Reynolds 122. Those guys were just involved in an accident. As we get set to go green here with 13 laps to go, Jamie Leach out in front. Can the guys on fresh tires make it through?
Well, we're about to find out, because that's Pienta working the outside of Holly right now, as there is a gaggle of cars right there stacked up behind the 82, and
boy, that's the 5 of Stotler making it difficult with his connection issues, as Holly now trying to keep position under his teammate. Yep, that's the 5 getting into the 00. That'll allow Eric Holly through all 3 of them.
Holly full send it mode right now, as working the inside of Stotler still. Stotler still blinking badly right now. And
Holly Pienta! There goes Pienta around. No caution.
No, we're not staying green.
Oh, yeah, no, we're not. That was Tompkins and Dill that had a big contact there. Tompkins, boy, his long night continues, doesn't it?
He's hit everything except the pace car tonight.
I mean, he's been a part of 5 cautions tonight. 3 of them he had gotten hit and sent around. Let's see what the case is on this one.
2 of them he was begging for it.
Boy, he took turn 1 normally, and Dill was slowing up for Pienta in front of him. Let's take a look at this on from Dill's onboard. He's going to see the wreck between the 00 and the 8 happen in front of him, and then just gets punted into it and catches Tompkins on the comeback.
Casey Sawtek has put it on the hauler, just so we're clear on that one.
There's the punt there. And Back around he goes. Chandler Summers getting a piece of it. Larry Poling getting a piece of it. Ellis Thomas might have caught some of it.
Looks like Johnny Rapp may have caught a piece of it too, because he has towed and he's been in pit road for over a minute now.
Yeah. So all of this benefiting the man in the 13 as Jamie Leach looks to score his first win in the USRA, at least in the time that we've been broadcasting this series. Take a brief scroll back through history. No, he did not win last year. Okay, so he did win in season 2. Second race of the year at Michigan in season 2.
Now, refresh my memory, Frank. Do these guys have a playoff series?
No, they do not. So it is straight up.
All right then.
So from what we're going off of here, we don't have season 4 statistics, or we might here. Hold on.
Well, meanwhile, I mean, Leach, he's going to have an uphill battle because you take a look at Ryan Jones. You know, you're talking 16 lap newer tires for both those guys in the outside lane, and that last restart, the caution really saved Zach Calloway because he spun the tires coming off of 4 to take the green and really stacked up that inside lane. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. As the lights are already out on the official iRacing pace truck, or pace car, I should say, Leach going to have the button as pace car gets ready to duck on in. There it goes, and here we go. Green flag in the air. We are back underway as Leach pulls the trigger, gets clear of Jones. Jones immediately ducks to the inside, and Barry and Calloway just throwing haymakers at each other right now. Barry almost into the wall.
80s sideways and backwards around here in the back, and that will be another caution. As again, this is what we had talked about before. This is late race, short track race, and cautions are going to come out aplenty now as guys try to make up positions, especially with older tires further back, fresher tires further back in the field. He's 3 wide here and just comes up into the 38 of Cody Levitt.
Well, he was hoping for a good night, but that's kind of out the window now.
Man, he was 3rd quickest in the practice session, and we will go to a green-white checkered finish here. This will be an official green-white checkered finish. I believe these guys get 2 attempts at green-white checkered.
It hasn't come up on my side yet, so I don't know. And it looks like Larry Poling getting the lucky dog on that one.
So everybody back on the lead lap here with the cautions that we've had. Well, everyone, top 15, pardon me.
Top
everyone
14.
except Poling.
Poling, yeah, Summers and Rapp still on pit road, but Poling, the only car 1 or more laps down, currently sitting 5 down.
Casey Sawtek, the only retirement. Summers and Rapp on pit road. Larry Poling, the only car on track right now that is not on the lead lap. Everybody else is on the same lap as the race leader.
So here's the situation. They're getting 1 shot at this.
Well, there you go.
Green flag's going to come out. Next flag ends the race.
So Jamie Leach will be looking for his first win since the 8th of April 2020 at Michigan, which would have been round 2 of the Cup Series, Season 4. Ryan Jones will be looking for his first win since Atlanta Motor Speedway about a month and a half ago. Chase Barry just picked up his first win last week at Darlington. I believe Zach Calloway is on for a first career win as well.
I believe you are correct in that one, but don't look now, but Holly and Chris Smith are both right there within striking distance.
Yes, they are. Eric Holly is not on fresh tire. He might be on 2 tires with an 8.3 second pit stop last time down. Chris Smith is on 4 fresh.
17 laps ago, but still.
There has been a lot of racing in those last 17 laps. Been a lot of pacing as we're doing right now. So we will get one crack at this here. Green, white, checkered. Jamie Leach needs a great start here if he wants to get his first win in a year and a half. As the cars tighten back up, green flag comes back out in the air. A good start for Jamie Leach, gets him clear of Ryan Jones. Jones has to worry about Chase Barry going into turn 1. Look at Pogo make it 3 wide going into the first corner.
Pogo trying to make it
and around they go. Caution comes out, and I believe
Leach wins.
Yep, I believe that will be it. Yes, it will be. So Jamie Leach on pit strategy, staying out the longest, not coming in on lap 133, being inheriting the race lead from the guys who did. We'll get to the replay in just a moment. But as the cars head off of turn number 4, Zach Calloway is going into the pits. Jamie Leach will cross the line. He will take the win here at round 15 at North Wilkesboro. His first win since April 8th of 2020 at Michigan, and Zach Calloway has thrown away a podium finish.
He pulled a Mark Martin.
Yes, he did.
And the 81 just hand grenaded an engine.
Yes, he did. So Chase Barry will be credited with 3rd. Ryan Jones will finish 2nd. So all in all, not too bad a night for Payday Racing. As Jamie Leach will take the win. He has 2 Truck Series wins prior to this, and they were both at super speedways, one at Daytona and Talladega. Back in 2019. Or actually, pardon me, back in 2018. So this will be career win number 4 for Jamie Leach. As we'll get these guys up here in just a minute. Before we get those guys in here for an interview, let's take a look and see what happened to bring out that race-ending caution. It all circulated around the big cluster there coming out of turn 2. Saw Jeff Pogo take it 3 wide. Holly pushed up the racetrack and just around everybody went.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of those deals that you kind of knew it was coming. You were hoping it wasn't, but you could see it starting to develop as soon as that green flag came out.
Last couple of cautions we saw here tonight, it was just a case of it looked as though the car in the middle knew he was 3 wide, and the car on the outside, the car on the inside did not know they were 3 wide. As we will go now, Tony, I believe you are with our race winner.
It's been a long time since we've been able to talk to this man, but Jamie Leach, almost a year and a half. Congratulations on your victory here tonight at North Wilkesboro.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
Talk us through just how you use that pit strategy tonight to get to the front, and you know, your thoughts as the cautions started to rear their ugly head at the closing of this race.
Yeah, pretty much the whole race. I just was holding off until I thought I needed tires, until I thought my laps were really falling off. And then there, right after I took my last set of tires, it was just caution after caution. They just kind of lucked out.
Well, I mean, you definitely had Lady Luck in the passenger seat tonight, but just talk to somebody that's new to this particular track. How difficult can it be to get around and learn the nuances of North Wilkesboro?
It's an odd track because both ends of the track are different. You kind of the way I drive 1 and 2, I kind of try to square off the apex. And 3 and 4 is usually good to try to stick towards the bottom, but in 1 and 2, if you take a late apex and cut in coming out of 2, you'll really get some good speed going down the straight.
Well, I mean, you definitely were able to carry a ton of speed here tonight and hold off some of the best of the best. Your thoughts going into next week's event at Bristol?
Bristol's always been a tough track for me. I'm going to do the best I can. Hopefully, I kind of luck out again. That would help a lot. Bristol's not one of my best tracks, but I don't know. We'll see if I can carry this momentum going into Bristol.
Well, Jamie, the floor is yours right now. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the USRA, all the admins. This is the best league I've ever ran by far. I'd like to thank my wife. I'd like to thank Pogo, Eric Colley, Cody Levitt, Dan Dill, all those guys. We all kind of share strategy, and it pays off.
All right. Well, Jamie, again, congratulations on your first victory in a long time. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next week at Bristol. Best of luck to you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
So that was your race winner, Jamie Leach, here. And in just a moment, we will get our second place finisher, Ryan Jones, in here, as we'll now work him up. And Ryan, shame you couldn't really battle in those last couple laps for the race lead. How crucial was it there for you to get that good restart and try to really race him going down into turn 1?
Yeah, I really just needed more than 2 corners. That's what was going to be the contributing factor. Unfortunately, we had a kind of a wreck fest there at the end, but I know it was putting on a good show. I just needed to get. I had a good run. I missed time to start there at the very end, and I got worried. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to run it up high out in 1 and 2 and just see if I can get the grip and send it. And I did, and I had the run, and I was like, man, if I can get to his inside, I can do something with it. I can pull it off. But then they, sure enough, they wrecked on the back stretch, and that ended that. But I got to give a lot of credit to Jamie. He timed it out perfectly, and he was able to hold on with the lead and pull off the win. I'm really happy for him. I haven't seen him win in a while, so. Crazy at the end there. We had a good long run there at the beginning, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. Had a good time.
Yeah, you were riding mostly in the middle of the pack, in between kind of like 3rd and 7th most of the night. How crazy was it in the midfield on those late race restarts, just trying to find a place to where you wouldn't get knocked around?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, people think it's okay to go 3 wide here, but it's really not. There's just no room and there's no grip to do that. So it definitely made it tough. So you had to be really, really patient. And at the beginning of the run, I struggled. I didn't really get a good practice in for some long runs, and I was entering the corners too rough and using up my right front. And once I started to learn, it was mainly in 3 and 4. Once I was able to rotate it a little bit better, I was able to kind of figure it out. Jeff and Eric there at the beginning made the perfect call when they pitted, and then they were going to try and trap people a lap down, I think. And then I found out, I was still out on the track, hadn't even pitted once. I could have made it to the end on fuel. I would have been on terrible tires, but I could have made it had the race stayed green all the way. So I was like, I'm not pitting. Everybody kept pitting. I'm like, I'm not pitting, not pitting. Sure enough, a caution came out and was able to hold on to 3rd for a little while there. And I decided to make a long shot call to pit when really nobody else was, to get some fresh tires, and worked my way up to 2nd somehow, and here we are.
Yeah, absolutely a great night for you and a great result. We've called these 4 weeks here the gauntlet, running through Darlington, then North Wilkesboro. Next week we go to Bristol. What are your thoughts in going into week 3 of this 4-week little gauntlet?
I'm a huge fan of Bristol, especially at night. It's just a real fun track to race, and there's always a lot of intensity during that time. And I just know things are going to get nuts, but hopefully I can get some practice in and get a good qualifying spot and stay in the front the whole race and come away with a win.
All right, but anyone you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate a second place finish tonight?
Of course, got to thank you guys as always. You guys put on a great show for us. USRA for everything they do. Tickle Zombie for being a part of it this season. Really grateful for them, and got to thank my teammates, Randy, even though he wasn't able to be here tonight, and Chase, and just some other teammates there that have been able to help us out a little bit. And Scott Tompkins, honestly, he gave me a steering wheel when I was having some issues, and that's why I couldn't race for a few weeks. And he lended me a steering wheel he had that he didn't use, and so that's why I'm able to race again with you guys. So really got to give credit to him.
It always helps to have friends. As Ryan Jones, your second place finisher here tonight, bud. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
So that was your second place finisher, Ryan Jones. And Tony is with a guy who probably did not expect to be speaking with us here tonight. It's the one of Chase Berry.
Chase Berry, I think you're probably just as surprised to be on the podium tonight as the rest of us are to see you up there, especially when that final caution came out. Talk us through what went through your mind when you saw the 55 duck down pit road.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know. Like, I was looking, I was like, all right, I'm finished fourth, and he pitted. I mean, I'm like, oh, what's he doing? I mean, but hey, I guess you take him as you get him. But like I said, he deserved his third. It shouldn't be me by the long shot. It should be Zach Callaway. Zach Callaway finished third in my book. He did good. To me, so I'll take the points overall. I'm gonna take the points now. I gotta make us some ground. But he definitely finished third. He did a good job all night.
Well, that KB's all around Toyota Tundra definitely looks like it's seen better days. Talk us through just how unforgiving the concrete walls here are at North Wilkesboro.
All right. Well, let's see. I hit that guy, that wall, the other guy. Hit a few of those people. Probably hit a pit cone. Hit my crew chief. I hit everything, man. I hate this place. This place sucks to me. I don't like it. But I hit everything. Mostly Scott Tompkins and the 27. Mostly those two. Mostly Scott though. That's about it. Yeah, I've hit everything. I was hitting everything. It felt like.
Well, we're going to another track where that's going to be a highly likely scenario as well as we go to Bristol under the lights next week. Your thoughts going into the high banks there at the Last Great Coliseum?
I love Bristol. Like, to me, Bristol's. That in Martinsville, like, really good. Like,
so you're a masochist.
What? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's use big words on the broadcast. Let's do that. Make me look stupid. We NASCAR drivers, remember? NASCAR drivers are stupid. Remember? All right. Anyways,
you're a glutton for punishment, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like Bristol, man. I like the rhythm that you can get into it. Just go up high, get down low, go up high. It's like you're dancing, man. It's just the flow. Just the flow. It's better than this hellhole that we had right now.
All right. Well, Chase, is there anybody you want to thank before we let you go celebrate the podium finish with your team?
Oh yeah. Thank Scott. It's Zach Callaway. That's first and foremost. Without him, I would never be on the podium. Let's see. Goodwin, Jamie, Chris, Randy, Scott, Justin, everybody else in the channel, Johnny, S'mores, Grizzly, whatever, Ryan, and shoot it off. Shooters got to shoot, baby. Woo!
All right then, Chase Berry, go take a Ritalin and go celebrate with your team, bud. We'll see you next week in Bristol.
All right.
Man puts on an interview of the year caliber interview every single time we talk to him. It's absolutely incredible. So it was It was an incredible night here tonight at North Wilkesboro, one of the classic tracks on the NASCAR circuit, and we get a surprise winner a year and a half since he's been in victory lane, and what a race he pulled off. May not have been the fastest car, but he certainly had the biggest brain.
Absolutely. I mean, that was pure pit strategy. Taking the tires at the right time. He was able to stay far enough forward that when that caution did come out, right around the century mark, he was able to duck on down, not lose a lap like a lot of these guys were doing under green. I mean, we saw 2 laps being lost in the pits taking 4 tires here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a very, very difficult night for all involved. Some had it a little bit harder than others, but it certainly was an unbelievable night here at North Wilkesboro, and one that just flew right on by. As we'll take a look now at the results here for tonight's round number 15 here from North Wilkesboro. Jamie Leach takes his first win since April 8th of 2020. Ryan Jones and Chase Barry make up the final positions on the podium. Anthony Reynolds comes home with a solid 4th position, and then after getting caught up in the wreck that brought out the green-white checkered, Evan Pienta gets through the wreck that caused the end of the race to get into the 5th position. Zach Calloway, Scott Stotler, Dan Dill, Jeff Pogo, and Jared Hagedorn round out the top 10 here tonight, Tony.
Ellis Thomas, not the night he was hoping for, coming home in 11th. Scotty Tompkins able to hang on for 12th. Chris Smith, definitely not the night that pole sitter was hoping for, coming home in 13th. 14th going to Eric Holley after getting caught up in that last lap melee. Cody Levitt gets caught up in that one too to finish 15th. Last truck on the lead lap. Larry Poling, first truck, 1 or more laps down in 16th. Chandler Summers, 17th. 18th goes to Johnny Rapp. And rounding out the field, Casey Sawtek in the 27, coming home in 19th. And a fun fact, Frank, only one car tonight had 0 incident points, and it just so happens to be our race winner, Jamie Leach.
Well, there you go. And that's how you win races here in this series. And on this sim, you have to be inch perfect. And for the most part tonight, that's exactly what Jamie Leach was. So that will pretty much do it for us here tonight from North Wilkesboro. Just a reminder, coming up right now, you should be able to get over in time for the DOB 410 feature. They are at Knoxville right now. After that will be the Big Block Series. They will be at Lernerville, so stay tuned. Ryan Williams and Ben Bruno on the call tonight for both ends of the DOB doubleheader. Coming up tomorrow, Tony and Sam will be in the booth for the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. They will be in the trucks at Daytona starting at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. On Saturday, September 11th, we will be doing Bottom Split Bingo. I know Sam and Tony will be in the booth. I'm still a question mark, but we will be doing Bottom Split Bingo this Saturday night. Not sure yet of the time, but we will put that up once we do know. One race we do know the start time of, that will be the Majors Series. They will be running the Italian Grand Prix in the McLaren Formula One car at Monza coming up on Sunday night. Myself and Sam Cooper Bennett in the booth again for the Majors Series. And then on Monday, Sam and Tony will be in the booth for the Rowdy Energy Cup Series. They will be holding round number 2 of the playoffs at Richmond Raceway. That will be at 8:20. So for my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Head on over to see Ryan Williams and Ben Bruno in the booth for the DOB Series. You should be in time. They should be starting the feature race right now in the 410s from Knoxville. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.